Delighted to act as the venue for this NFU event for two main reasons. The first is that we're in the business of farming. We run a commercial farming operation which relies on the skills of our farm staff to ensure that they demonstrate the real-world application of modern farming practice to our students. We also run near-market research that we aim to demonstrate to the farming community to help improve farm businesses in the longer term. We might not be a typical farm, but we like to think that we're entrepreneurial and committed to trying out approaches that will spark an interest, discussion and the adoption of new ideas in the rest of the farming community. The second reason is that because there are issues of direct concern to the tenancy farming sector that are of considerable interest to our students. Although 82% of our students have a rural background, not all of them who want to work in the industry come from a family farm. Even if they do, there's no guarantee that they will work in or take on that farm in the immediate future. So we have a generation of people who are committed to farming, who we will need to help tackle the global challenge of food security and to help secure our own future food supplies, but who face the challenge of finding a route into the sector.
I'm not coming from a family farm, so I'm just looking for some more information on how to get into tenant farming, basically.
Very similar to Chris, not from a family farm. Always been in agriculture for as long as I can remember, and I'd like to just further my career through a tenant farm.
Ideally, I'd like to have my own farm, but I think it's going to be a lot of hard work, and it might be kind of something I retire on. But I think a farm manager role is more likely in the long run. So.
I should hope to maybe go into assistant farm management and maybe run a small farming enterprise alongside that to then hopefully eventually move into running my own farm. But I don't know if that's too idealistic.
It's also good news to see a record number of students wanting to be involved in agriculture and horticulture and allied industry to farming. It just shows to me the excitement there is in farming, in food production going forward. There's been a lot of interest generated through the media over the last few years. We all know the dynamics, 9 billion people to feed by 2050. Maybe 17 million people in the UK to feed by 2026. That's an increase of 15% within the UK population in the next 14 years. These are the challenges that we face. Sir John Beddington in his foresight report sort of highlighted quite categorically that we will need to increase food production by 70% by the year 2050. So these are huge challenges, and again, because of these messages, that is one of the reasons why I believe there has been this upsurge in interest in agriculture and in farming.
My situation is, I'm not from a farming background at all, but I've been working on two farms. One's a beef farm and one's an arable farm. I've been working for both of them for about 4 years now. I really enjoy Jim Paice. Generally just all the opportunities that he thinks that there are in the industry. So I felt sort of quite smug being reasonably young, and him saying that agriculture is a good place to be for the next like 10-15 years. So yeah, very encouraging, and I enjoyed it all, yeah.
But I'm convinced, as we look to the years ahead, and I can't have a crystal ball and say whether land prices are going to carry on being as crazy as they appear to be at this moment in time, but those prices of land are probably only very partly related to the profits that can be made from farming that land. But we will see, I do believe, more and more land being farmed by people other than those that own it in the future. But there is a proviso, that if this is going to happen and it's going to be part of the solution, those agreements need to be long enough, balanced enough, and flexible enough to enable tenants to invest on one hand, but also being able to make sure that owners of the land have their aspirations met at the same time. If we can get that right, I think that's exactly the sort of framework that can provide, I think, the solutions we need.
I come from a family farm in Devon, and my dad has a lifetime tenancy for it, so there's no guarantee that I can go back in to farm the same farm, or that my brothers or anyone will get it. So kind of here to see possibilities, the options, what can happen.
I don't come from a farming background. I plan to farm myself later on, and tenancy seems to be the way forwards with land prices as they are. It's the safest, I think, probably the easiest route into it.
Today we believe that the farming and food industries in this country are a major part of Britain's future economic activity. The food and farming chain makes up £88 billion of added value for the British economy. It employs 3.5 million workers. It is massive. It is something that really matters. So let nobody be in any doubt that this government believes in your industry, the industry that I've spent most of my working life in, and as you've heard, my son's working. It is key to the future. And that's why all opportunities are so important, and it's why your sector, the tenanted sector, is so vital to that productive growth over years ahead. And I want to make it easier wherever I possibly can for people to get into the industry and to grow their businesses. For new entrants where possible to start farming, or for new young people, bright young students, to do as my eldest son is doing, as Peter said, in developing a career in farm management through some of the many large farming operations that are now being created.
Tenancy sector, why do we need it? Well, first of all, because a third of our land is farmed through the tenancy sector. That includes traditional Agricultural Holdings Act tenancies, farm business tenancies, and a whole variety of other arrangements, going all the way through to those which are simply a verbal agreement between two parties. It provides that vital opportunity for people to actually invest and develop in their businesses. Peter referred to the current price of agricultural land. We've seen land values treble over the last 4 or 5 years. There are those out there who want to invest in the business, they cannot afford to also invest in the land. And therefore the landlord-tenant system provides, that tenancy sector provides that way for people to invest in the farm business whilst others actually own the land. And when it comes to land management, there are people out there who want to own land, but yet they don't want to farm it. People say, isn't it awful? All these wealthy people coming out from the cities and buying land. No, it's not, because it actually creates opportunities for others to go and farm that land for them.